Hey, what's up, guys? Coach Eric Scallan here at Gladiators Academy of Youngsville, and we are doing our stranger danger presentation, guys. So we're gonna be talking about stranger danger prevention all month, and so I wanted to go ahead and send this to y'all now, so y'all can have an idea of what we're talking about, something to save and review later. It's one thing for me to go over all this material, but none of it's going to stick unless you and your child talk about this, y'all review, and y'all practice. All right. So I want you to use this as a guide. I want you to share this with anyone you think who may need this. And let's get started, guys. All right. So we're going to be talking about a few things in this presentation. Is one, what is a stranger? The different types of strangers that we may encounter. Understanding that, hey, there's good and there's bad strangers. Right? We're going to go over a couple of different role playing scenarios and what to do, what not to do. We're going to talk about different solutions to those scenarios and also just different tips on how to deal with bad strangers. All right, guys. I'm going to give y'all a 48-hour challenge, and this is a time for you to go home with your child to work on some of this material, practice, and it's also going to give you a little test that you can take as well, and that they can turn in. All right, guys. So let's go ahead and let's get started. All right. So first things first. What is a stranger? A stranger is someone you hardly know or do not know at all. There are people that you may see frequently in your neighborhood or people even you see in your community. All right. It's a person you don't know. Now, they may be just as much as a stranger as someone you have never met or have never seen before. Now, I want you to think about people that you see on a daily basis. All right. Who are the type of people you see at school, at the grocery store, activities, right? Are these all bad strangers, right? And that's the first thing we need to identify. The answer is no. Not every person that we don't know is bad, right? But we must be smart, and we have to use our parents' wisdoms to make sure that they are safe adults before we interact with them. All right. So identifying a stranger. A stranger is someone you hardly know or do not know at all. Now this could be someone you see frequently. Maybe you recognize their face, but you don't know them very well. And this can be a little confusing because it's best that we talk to strangers with our mom and dad or adults before we have these conversations, right? So it's very important that, hey, if someone we don't know, they recognize, let's make sure that our parents or we need also as parents we need to communicate to our kids that, hey, this is a friend of mine, and kind of let them know, hey, it's okay to talk to this person. All right. So again, are all strangers bad? Absolutely not. Right. All right. Now, who are safe strangers? All right. Safe strangers are people you can turn to if you need. Maybe people like police officers, firefighters are two very recognizable and very safe strangers. Others may include maybe a teacher, a cross guard, someone, or maybe like a crossing guard, or maybe even like a store clerk or a martial arts instructor. All right. It is safe to ask for help whenever you're in a public place. All right. So who else can think of a safe stranger? I want y'all to think about that. All right. So maybe another safe stranger. Let me see. Would be, let's see. We talked about firefighters. Yeah, maybe someone who works for your parents, right? So someone maybe who works for you. All right. Very good. All right. Now identifying a bad stranger. All right. Now it's true. This is not always simple. All right. Someone doesn't necessarily look like a bad person or a villain like they do in a movie. Maybe me or Coach Heath kind of look like a bad guy, but it's important to always use extra caution. Trust your judgment and intuition. And this is something that we need to instill in our kids, parents, is that, trust your gut. A lot of times, just that burning intuition that something just doesn't feel right, something just doesn't seem right, something they said just doesn't quite jive with you. It's important that we talk to our kids and let them know that, like, hey, trust your gut. If somebody gives you a funny feeling, looks at you a weird way, or maybe I'm being a little aggressive with you, it's important to identify that. All right. Also recognizing, hey, look, a bad stranger is going to do whatever they can to make you feel comfortable with them. All right. They can be very, very friendly. It doesn't even matter how old or how young they are. All right. And if we ever do have that funny feeling, it's important to recognize, hey, it's okay. It's okay to tell that person to leave you alone. All right. It's better to be safe than be sorry. All right. All right, guys. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to go over two different role playing scenarios. All right. And parents, this is one I want you to do with your child. It's going to sound something like this. All right. You are outside riding your bike when a car begins to slowly follow alongside of you. What should you do? All right. So if you're driving along your bicycle, someone comes creeping up, you should immediately seek help and because and recognize that you are being followed. All right. If there's a public place nearby, such as a convenience store, a restaurant, you should go in and ask for assistance right away to an adult. If you're in your neighborhood, maybe you should definitely go directly home, or if close by, go to a friend's house immediately. All right. So parents, you need to explain to your kids that, hey, if someone's following you, get to a public place. All right, whether it's a convenience store or a restaurant, or if they're in the neighborhood, they need to get home immediately. They need to run home. And maybe this is something y'all can actually practice as well. All right. Now, if your child's in a very unfamiliar neighborhood, you need to explain to your child that, hey, you need to look at a house where it looks like someone's home. So is there a house with cars in the driveway? All right, guys. So that is scenario number one. Second scenario is let's say you are at a local playground where there's an unfamiliar adult calls out by name. All right. So the adult asks you to come over and talk with them. So we're talking about, and this is a very common practice, is that if a predator is tracking someone down, they're going to know that kid's name. And it's not very hard to find a child's name. A lot of times we give it away on Facebook. A lot of time maybe they're part of some type of team and organization. They may call their name out pretty frequently, so this is a common technique. They'll say, hey, Johnny. All right. So if someone is calling your child out, all right, first off, you should never be at the park or playground alone. All right. If you're old enough to be with an adult, if you're old enough to be without an adult supervision, you should always have the buddy system. All right. And this is something that we need to tell our kids, like, hey, if we're going to go outside, hey, make sure you're in numbers. I know my child Ty, he's a little younger, he's 5 or 6. Man, every time he plays outside, he's with another kid who's 7. There's another kid who's 9. There's a couple other kids that are a little bit older in the neighborhood. So I usually always know that he's with one of the other kids. All right. Also, we have to explain to our kids that hey, if you don't know who the adult is, you should never you should shake your head no at them very quickly and get to a safe place. So if someone is trying to call to you and you don't know who they are, immediately, hey, tell them no and leave immediately. All right. And always remember, just because an adult knows your name, it does not mean it's safe to approach that adult. A stranger may have the overhead of hearing your name being called before. Maybe they even see it on your backpack. All right. And in a situation like this, safety trumps manners. All right. So sometimes, hey, explain to your kids, guys, it's okay to be, if you're scared, it's okay to be rude. It's okay to be rude. It's okay to make a scene. If being rude means that you're safe, then so be it. All right. Now, we have to recognize and handling difficult situations. All right. If you are ever separated from your family or friends and someone who you do not know, a stranger, and tries to talk to you, do not engage with them. Do not panic and find a trusted adult. All right. So it can be scary sometimes. Hey, sometimes you may get separated. All right. But again, use your gut instinct. All right. Use your gut instinct. And if a stranger comes up to you and maybe is just a little off-putting, don't panic. Wait around. Try to find an adult you can trust. All right, guys. So, hey, this is part 1. In our next section, we're going to go over different solutions. All right, guys.